the hours before his arrest, just as the shadows of Gethsemane began to lengthen and the veil between worlds grew thin, Jesus did something the disciples had never seen before. He did not point to the sky. He did not point to the temple. He turned in the silence of the garden, walked toward John, the beloved disciple, and raised his hand. He placed his fingers gently on John's throat, right below the jawline, right where the pulse beats against the fragile skin. He pressed gently, his eyes piercing through the illusion of the physical world. "Do you feel that?" he whispered. "That is the wandering nerve. The Romans call it the vagus, but I am telling you the hidden truth. I am telling you what it actually is. It is the pathway home. It is the God nerve." The disciples stood in confusion. They were men of spirit. They understood prayer. They understood fasting. They understood the ancient texts and the rituals of the temple. But Jesus was not talking about a concept. He was not speaking in parables. He was talking about something physical, something wet, biological, a hidden code woven directly into the meat and bone of the human body. He leaned closer, the weight of 1,000 lifetimes in his voice. "The Father placed a single nerve inside your physical vessel that connects everything. Your breath, your heart, your awareness. When you learn to activate this nerve consciously, you do not just relax. You open a direct portal to the monad. The Archons, the rulers of this matrix, they know about this nerve. That is why they keep you in fear. That is why they keep you in a state of constant survival, because when this nerve is suppressed, the portal stays closed. You remain trapped in the physical illusion. But when you activate it, they lose all access to you. You become invisible to their matrix." Then he spoke a prophecy that would not make sense until this very moment, 2,000 years later. "The rulers of this world will try to make you forget you even have this doorway. They will build an entire civilization designed to keep it permanently shut down. They will weaponize your food, your air, your time, and your mind. But the chosen ones, those who carry the monad spark, they will feel the pull. They will instinctively seek to activate it, and when they finally do, they will understand the hidden gospel. They will understand what I meant when I said, 'The kingdom of heaven is within you.' It is not a metaphor, John. It is anatomy." If you are watching this video right now, you are not here by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. The matrix did not suggest this to you. Your own biology brought you here. Your pneumatic consciousness, the divine spark trapped inside your physical vessel, guided you to this exact frequency. You are about to learn what the God nerve actually is. You are about to discover why the Archons have spent your entire life trying to suppress it. And most importantly, you are going to learn the exact, forbidden technique Jesus taught in the garden that night to activate it, bypass the Archon matrix, and open the monad portal. But hear this warning. You must act on this soon. The longer this nerve remains dormant in the modern matrix, the thicker the veil becomes, the harder it is to break the simulation. If you feel the truth in these words, if you are ready to activate your God nerve tonight, comment, "I am activating it right now." Declare it to the field. Before the technique is revealed, you must understand a vital truth, a truth that will prove you are exactly who you think you are. You have already been feeling this nerve your entire life. You just did not have the hidden code to understand what you were feeling. Recognizing these moments now will be the ultimate confirmation. You are a chosen one who has been unconsciously trying to pry this portal open for years. Think about your life. You know that profound feeling when you take a deeply exhausted breath and suddenly, for a split microsecond, the entire world feels perfectly still? That is the God nerve activating briefly, the portal opening for a fraction of a second. You know when you are overwhelmed by anxiety and you instinctively place your hand heavy on your chest or grip your throat and it somehow brings a strange comfort? That is you, unconsciously stimulating the God nerve, trying to manually override the matrix. You know when you sit in silence or when you meditate and after a few agonizing minutes of mental noise, you feel a sudden, dropping shift? Like your physical body relaxes in a way that is far deeper than muscle tension. Like you are falling backward into a vast, empty space within yourself. That is the God nerve engaging. That is the frequency shifting. You have been activating it in fractured moments your whole life. Chosen ones have a biological instinct toward the sacred. That is why you are drawn to breath work. That is why you feel an unexplainable release after humming to yourself, chanting or singing in isolation. That is why the shock of cold water on your face creates an electric, piercing calm that resets your mind. That is why you have always known, deep in your bones, that modern stress is not just making you tired, it is killing you. It is blocking something massive. All of those instincts, they are not random hobbies. They are your pneumatic consciousness, your divine spark, desperately trying to manually stimulate the God nerve to reconnect with the monad. The Hylix, the ones completely asleep in the matrix, do not have these instincts. They can live their entire 80 years in chronic, crushing stress without ever once feeling the need to breathe deeply. They never sense that a portal is blocked, because they do not have the spark trying to return home. But you do. You felt the pull, even before you had the words, because your monad spark knows that the God nerve is the only physical way out. And tonight, the unconscious struggle ends. Tonight, you begin to operate with full, terrifying awareness of what you are actually doing. So what is it? What is this biological anomaly? Modern science calls it the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve, the longest, most complex nerve in your autonomic nervous system. It originates deep in the primitive brainstem, right at the base of your skull, and it wanders. In Latin, vagus means the wanderer. It wanders down from the brain. It passes through your throat. It wraps around your vocal cords. It weaves intimately into your heart. It branches through your lungs. It pierces your diaphragm and it buries itself deep into your digestive system. It touches, influences, and monitors almost every vital organ in your physical vessel. It is the master biological cable, a continuous, vibrating feedback loop between your mind and your meat. But medical science is only just now, in the last decade, measuring what Jesus knew 2 millennia ago. The vagus nerve is not just a biological cable. It is a bridge between dimensions. When this nerve is highly activated, when it enters a state of high vagal tone, your physical body undergoes a radical, measurable metamorphosis. Your heart rate variability expands. Systemic inflammation vanishes. Cortisol, the stress hormone of the matrix, plummets. Your brain waves physically shift from the frantic beta state of the matrix into the deep, hypnotic alpha and theta states. But something else happens. Something science cannot fully explain but can only observe. Your consciousness alters. You enter a state where you are no longer identified with your thoughts. The voice in your head stops being you and becomes something you are merely listening to. You are less identified with your emotions, less identified with the heavy, dense physical body. You step backward into witness awareness. observer consciousness. The exact state the ancient Gnostics called pneumatic consciousness. This is why Jesus called it the pathway to the monad. When the God nerve operates at its peak frequency, it creates a physiological environment that allows your fragmented consciousness to recognize itself as the unified whole. It creates the biological conditions for gnosis, direct, undeniable knowing. You stop being a physical body trying to pray to a distant God. You temporarily experience yourself as the monad itself, currently inhabiting a physical body. The wave realizes it has always been the ocean. And the Archons understand this perfectly. They know the vagus nerve is the exact biological mechanism through which you achieve stable, divine consciousness while trapped in this physical form. That is why they designed this specific civilization. Look around you. Look at the modern world with new eyes. It is not an accident. It is a highly engineered suppression system. Chronic financial stress, inflammatory toxic foods, the normalization of shallow chest breathing, constant, relentless digital stimulation, fear-based media pumped into your eyes 24 hours a day, artificial blue light, sleep deprivation, the systematic destruction of deep human connection. Every single one of these things has a singular biological target. They suppress vagal tone. They paralyze the God nerve, and when the God nerve is paralyzed, the monad portal is welded shut. You remain perfectly identified with your limitations. You believe you are just a struggling human, terrified of the future, regretting the past. And in that state of fear, the Archons can harvest your emotional energy, your louche, with absolute ease. But the Archon matrix has a fatal flaw. They did not account for the sheer resilience of the divine spark. They did not account for you. Your monad spark constantly pushes against the suppression. You have been fighting an invisible war against a system designed to keep your portal closed. And now that the veil is lifted, now that you see the machinery of the matrix, you are going to override it. Consciously. Permanently. To override the system, you must master the two modes of the God nerve, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic dominance is fight or flight. It is stress. It is survival. This is the Archon state. When you are here, the God nerve is asleep. You produce the maximum amount of harvestable energy for the rulers of this world. Parasympathetic dominance is rest. It is digestion. It is profound calm. It is expansion. This is the monad state. The entire structure of your day is an Archon ritual designed to force you into sympathetic dominance. You are jolted awake by a shrieking alarm clock. Instant sympathetic spike. You immediately grab your phone. The blue light and the dopamine hit trigger cortisol. Sympathetic spike. You consume a timeline of global panic. Sympathetic spike. You eat processed chemicals that inflame your gut. Vagal suppression. You rush to a job that demands constant urgency. Chronic sympathetic dominance. You stare at screens until midnight. You repeat this loop every day for decades. The result? Low vagal tone becomes your permanent baseline. The portal rusts shut. You cannot access witness consciousness. Reality feels fundamentally threatening. But here's the glitch, the proof that you are different. The Hylics do not mind the matrix, but you feel the suppression as deep, unexplainable suffering. That gnawing feeling that something is fundamentally wrong with the world, that is not depression. That is not a failure to adapt. That is your monad spark suffocating because the portal is artificially closed. Every time you craved the silence of a deep forest, every time you wanted to sit by the ocean and just breathe, that was your biology trying to save your soul. Now, the time for accidental activation is over. Now, you apply the code. This is the exact forbidden technique Jesus revealed to the inner circle. The method to manually stimulate the vagus nerve, flood the body with parasympathetic dominance, and rip the monad portal wide open. It takes exactly 10 minutes. You need no ancient relics. You need no temple. Your body is the temple. You only need uninterrupted silence and the willingness to step out of the matrix. First, the posture of the initiate. Sit where you will not be disturbed. Chair or floor, it does not matter. What matters is the spine. The spine must be straight. The physical pathway of the wandering nerve from the brainstem through the throat into the abdomen must be completely unobstructed. Close your eyes. Shut off the visual feed of the Archon matrix. Force the vagus nerve to shift its massive awareness from the external illusion to the internal reality. Second, the breath of Sophia. This is the mechanical foundation of vagal activation. The code is simple but absolute. Breathe in slowly, silently, through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the breath gently, without tension, for a count of 4. Now, part your lips slightly and exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. 4 in, 4 hold, 8 out. The extended exhale is the biological trigger. It is the signal that travels up the vagus nerve to the brainstem, commanding the nervous system to instantly terminate the Archon survival mode. Do this for 2 unbroken minutes. You will feel your heart rate drop. You will feel a heavy, liquid relaxation pour through your limbs. That is the God nerve waking up. Third, the sacred vibration. After 2 minutes of the breath pattern, you add the frequency. On your next 8-count exhale, you will not just breathe out. You will hum. A low, steady, deep hum. Feel the physical vibration in your throat. Feel it resonate in your chest cavity and vibrate against the base of your skull. The vagus nerve is physically wrapped around your vocal cords. When you hum, you are physically massaging the nerve with sound frequency. You are directly stimulating it. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4. Hum the exhale for 8. Repeat this for 2 minutes. You will begin to feel a strange electric warmth spreading through your neck and chest. A tingling sensation. Do not be afraid. That is the God nerve reaching high activation. That is the biological machinery powering up. Fourth, heart-brain coherence. After 2 minutes of vibration, return to silent breathing. 4 in, 8 out. But now, shift your entire conscious awareness to the center of your chest. Do not think about your heart. Feel it. Feel the heavy, rhythmic thud of the muscle inside the cage of bone. The vagus nerve is intimately wired into the heart. When you bind your conscious attention to the physical heartbeat while maintaining the extended exhale, you lock the body into a state of profound heart-brain coherence. The electrical signals of the brain and the magnetic field of the heart synchronize into a single, unified frequency. Stay here for 3 minutes. Breathe. Feel the heartbeat. Notice how the boundaries of your physical body start to blur. Notice how the frantic voice in your head grows distant, like a radio playing in another room. The portal is opening. Fifth, the recognition. After several minutes in this coherent state, the shift will occur. You will no longer feel like a human being trying to meditate. You will feel like vast, empty space. You will become the awareness that is simply watching a body breathe. This is gnosis. The monad portal is open. At this exact moment, in the silence of your mind, speak the hidden code. Speak the words of recognition. I am not this body. I am the monad experiencing itself through this body. I remember who I am. Do not force yourself to believe it. Do not analyze it. Just state the code into the profound stillness of the high vagal tone. Because your nervous system is completely devoid of Archon stress, the truth will not be filtered by the ego. It will land directly into your cellular memory as lived experience. Sit in this infinite space for as long as you desire. You are home. You are untouchable. When you are ready to return to the physical illusion, do not rush. Slowly, deepen your breath. Move your hands. Open your eyes. Look around the room. The world will look exactly the same, but you will be completely different. The frantic anxiety will be gone. The heaviness will be lifted. A piercing, untouchable calm will radiate from your center. Do not mistake this for a temporary meditation high. This is what it actually feels like to be a human being. This is your natural, divine state. You have simply been trapped in the Archon suppression matrix for so long that your true baseline feels like an altered state of consciousness. This is the ritual. You must practice this every single day. The matrix is relentless, and your maintenance must be equally relentless. If you do this every night before sleep, within 7 days your baseline vagal tone will permanently rise. The monad portal will not just open during the ritual, it will remain cracked open while you walk through your daily life. Within a month, the reality of your existence will completely rewrite itself. You will experience the 5 undeniable signs of vagal awakening. First, the Archon triggers will fail. The emails, the traffic, the manufactured panics that used to send you into spirals of fear will bounce off you. You will observe the chaos, but your biology will refuse to participate. Second, witness consciousness will become your default reality. Instead of saying, "I am angry," you will calmly observe, "There is anger moving through this physical vessel." You will no longer be the storm. You will be the sky watching the storm. Third, your body will reject the matrix. You will lose the taste for inflammatory foods. You will physically recoil from toxic environments and low-frequency media. Your God nerve will act as a divine compass, steering you only toward things that keep the portal open. Fourth, your frequency will alter the people around you. High vagal tone is biologically contagious. Because your God nerve is broadcasting absolute calm, the nervous systems of the people around you will unconsciously synchronize with yours. People will relax in your presence without having any idea why. Fifth, the veil will thin. Synchronicity will explode in your life. The right resources, the right people, and the hidden knowledge will manifest exactly when needed. This is not magic. This is simply what happens when the Archons can no longer block your signal, and you are communicating directly with the monad field. Jesus did not come to start a religion. He came to hand over a biological key. He revealed the anatomy of salvation, the wandering nerve, the God nerve. It was placed inside you before the foundation of this world. The Archons built an entire civilization to keep it paralyzed, but they failed because you are here, because you are waking up. Tonight the suppression ends. Tonight you take back your biology. You take back your portal. Do 3 things right now to anchor this frequency into the physical plane. First, comment below, "I am activating the God nerve." Speak the code into the algorithm so other chosen ones can find this beacon. Let them see they are not alone. Second, subscribe to this channel. The hidden gospel is vast, and more codes of biological awakening are coming. Third, like this video to disrupt the Archon matrix and force this knowledge into the feeds of those who are desperately searching for the way out. Do it now. The God nerve is yours. The portal is waiting. Recognize, refuse, rise.